everyone, how are you doing? I've been a little bit busy this morning trying to put together this little comparison clip talking about the hill climbs that have just gone. I'm probably going to be doing this after most of the hill climbs, but I figured I'd do this after this weekend's hill climbs. The interesting takeaways from the one on Saturday and the one on Sunday. So the one on Saturday, Andrew Feather won. The one on Sunday, I'm pretty sure Andrew Feather won again. But the climbs being 4 minutes, you could kind of lose or gain time anyway, I suppose. But the Strava comparison tool, which I have no affiliation with, but it's very, I think, for any of you who are competitive in hill climbs or time trials or whatever, to compare yourself to the fastest rider or the second fastest rider, whatever, it's really, really handy. You can learn, where you lost and gained time, and then if it corresponds to certain things like, oh, I know I took that corner wrong, or I know I slipped a gear there, then it's all part of the learning process. So when I look at the first hill climb on Saturday, where I was 7 seconds slower than Feather, so I know that Andrew didn't have a great time clipping in at the start. So I think he maybe lost 2 or 3 seconds there. I know I clipped in instantly. I think that's all my years of running the Tour series and not doing very well at it, but at least getting a good start clipping in. But then I actually held my ground by the looks of it over the course of the bottom half of the climb. I did lose a bit of time. It was gradually pulling me back as the climb went on. There's a little bit of a blip there, like near the end, where it dips suddenly. I think that's just when my Wahoo registered like a really high speed for no apparent reason, and then it just levels off, so I just ignore that if I were you. But then it draws even with literally 150, 200 meters to go, and then completely blasts and puts 7 seconds into me. Now if you look at his ride on Strava, which you can, he had a massive kick with about 20 or 30 seconds to go of this climb. I didn't, and that's where he put 7 seconds into me, at least according to the comparison tool. So that's an interesting one. Lots of things to learn from that. The second one on Sunday, this is very interesting, because initially I lose all the time in that first 800 meters of the climb. So the first half of the climb, because the climb is 1.6k, the first half mile I lose all the time, like 20 seconds down on Cam Biddle, 20 seconds down, well, not just 20 seconds down, 15 seconds down on George Kimber, and Feather hasn't uploaded as the time I'm recording this, so I don't know, but I reckon it's roughly the same as well. But the idea is that is typical of me, not going off very hard, and I know it's a 4 minute climb, so I should be going off harder. It would have been interesting if I had gone out and then blown a little bit at the end to see if I possibly would have closed that gap or held it even. But it's interesting looking at it. That's a rather both graphs are the same, and then when the climb gets faster near the end, I actually pull back a bit of time and hold them level. So we've learned something. We're moving on from it, and it's good for the future to learn about this. Another day, another climb. Answer me this, guys. Why is it that every road that's called Mount Pleasant has a hill? Now obviously the word mount is there, but it's because there's a nice view at the top, a pleasant view. Cars are itching to get by me on this lane, and when I'm riding active recovery, I just hold up everybody. I'm hugging the heads. I literally can't be any closer unless I'm in it. So on the deck today is about an hour to hour and a half active recovery with a few sprints, but the sprints aren't what you'd kind of associate with maximum sprints or sprint training. Do you remember what we used to do a couple of months ago on Zwift? Well, that's what I'm kind of doing again. A little bit of low RPM, high torque, snap effort. I'm also throwing in 1 or 2 traffic light starts, which are simulating that clip in and go
start that we now have to do at all the hill climbs because we're not allowed to be held up by anybody. So so far so good. As long as I keep it really easy in between, I still technically regard this as active recovery. At the end of the day, it's the big picture, and if I'm only doing a minute's worth of work in a 90-minute ride, it really doesn't make a difference. If anything, it's more of a benefit because I never work the sprint anyway, so I will hopefully reap the rewards like I did during that Zwift season.
Okay, so after a big meal last night and a rest day yesterday, and so I'm wearing a dressing gown, and I've had breakfast, I weigh in at 62.5 kilos. So I'm gonna weigh the bike now as it is set up for hill climbing, and we'll give you the scores on the board. Hear me out on this, okay? So my saddlebag is safety pinned on because it's like 10 years old and will fall off if I don't budge it to keep it on there. So I'm going to weigh an inner tube, and I'm going to weigh, and I'm going to hypothetically make up a weight for the saddlebag. Now, here's my inner tube going on. Call it 130. So let's call the saddlebag like 250 grams because it's quite a small saddlebag. So 250 grams of everything in. Now let's weigh the bike as it is, with Wahoo on it, with no bottle cages, with my race wheels, and with my back light, because obviously you've got to have a real light now for hill climb. So let's do it. Okay, that is 70.3. So if we take off the 250 grams that I said for the saddlebag, so let's call it 70, that is 7.5 kilos. But we've been through this all before. There's plenty of ways to make this bike lighter, which we're working on. We're just not working on for the basis of the start of the hill climb season. We're working on the basis of different tyres, different wheels, different drivetrain, lighter pedals, lighter brakes. So it's likely to be a complete new build. But it's interesting how a 7.5 kilo bike can still be competitive. You know, you're pushing the envelope and you're risking things by, you know, being a lot heavier than the competition. But if you lose 1.5 kilos off your bike instead of your body, that's a lot to gain, especially when you're in the top 20. Hope you enjoyed this little video. We'll keep making these daily-ish videos between the weekend hill climb stints. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please press that like button. So I'm in my dressing gown, but it's super early. And see you in the next one.